Section 4.8, and in section 4.8 here, we're going to begin with, this part's not in your notes, so you're going to want to write these things down on a piece of paper in your notes. So it's called Steps to Simplifying a Radical Expression. Okay, so as I go through and we look at these, we are going to take a square root, and we're all going to have square roots. We're not going to have anything else other than that. And we're going to simplify these. Now, when we say simplify these, we're not going to make them decimals. So what we're going to do here is we are going to break down the number underneath the square root using a factor tree. So I'm going to take the number, for example, if I had the square root of, let's go 18. I would take 18, and I'm going to break that down into a factor tree. So what two numbers multiply to be 18? In this case, I'll say, let's see here. We'll go 6 and 3. Okay, and then I'm going to break down 6. So then 6 becomes 2 and 3. So this is 2 times 3 to the not third but second power. Okay, because there's 2 3s there and there's 1 2. That's what I mean by breaking down the number underneath the square root using a factor tree. Your goal here is you want to make as many powers of 2 as possible. Here's why. All the numbers with powers of 2 will come out of your root. If there's no power of 2 with it, then it has to stay inside the root. So as you look here at this example, what happens is every time you have a power of 2 or a square, it cancels out the square root. So this square and the square root cancel. The only thing that's left is what's underneath that square root. Okay? So a square and a square root will cancel each other out. Okay, so let's look at the first example here. We have the number 250. I want to find the square root of 250 in simplest radical form. So in this case, 250. I'm going to break down 250. I want to know what two numbers multiply to be 250. Well, when I do that, I get 25 and 10. 10 breaks down into 5 and 2. Now, you'll notice the 5 and the 2, I circled those because they are prime numbers. I cannot break them down anymore. 25 breaks down into 5 and 5. Okay, so 250 is 2 times, and there are 3 5s here, but remember, I want powers of 2, so I'm going to go 5 to the second. That takes care of the 2, that takes care of the 2 5s, and 1 extra 5 left over. So instead of the square root of 250, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace that with a 2 times 5 squared times a 5. So now what I can do here is I can split these all up. Square root of 2 times square root of 5 squared times square root of 5. And by doing that now, I'm looking for anything that has a power of 2 with a square root is going to cancel it. So this 2, he doesn't get out. So I treat the square root like jail. Okay? If you don't have a power of 2 is your get out of jail free card. So I don't have a power of 2 on that 2, he stays in jail. This 5 right here, this 5 has a power of 2. The 2 and the square root cancel, so the 5 comes outside. This 5 does not have a power of 2, so he stays inside. And then to clean it up, I multiply 2 times 5 on the inside, so it's 5 times the square root of 10. That's in simplified form. Okay, 825. Again, 825 is a big number. 825 is a big number, but you'll notice it ends in 25. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 825 divided by 25, and I get 25 and 30. So 25 times 33 is 825. Well, then I can break down 25. That's 5 times 5. Those guys are both prime. You can't break them down. 33. What two numbers multiply to be 33? That's 3 and 11. Okay, so now here I have a 3, I have 2 5s, and I have an 11. So now instead of 825, I'm going to have a 3, a 5 squared, and an 11, and I can separate them. Okay, now by separating them, again, anything with a power of 2 cancels those roots. 5 is on the outside. 3 stays in, and 11 stays in because they don't have powers of 2. And then 3 times 11, since they're both inside, I can multiply them together, and I get 33. 5 times the square root of 33. Okay, last example here is 384. Okay, 384. When I break down 384, again, you can use your multiplication chart on this. You should get 16 times 24. So now 16 goes to 4 and 4, and 4 breaks down into 2 and 2. Okay, and then 24 is going to go to 6 and 4. 6 goes to 2 and 3. And 4 goes to 2 and 2. Okay, so now I see lots of 2's here, right? So again, remember, I want pairs. So I'm going to go 2 squared. And what I'm going to do is cross out both those. I just used 2 of those. Another 2 squared. Cross out 2 of those. Another 2 squared. Cross out these 2. And then what's left? The 2 and the 3. Okay. So again, powers of 2. If I separate these guys. Okay. 2 cancels. That guy's outside. 2 cancels. That guy's outside. 2 cancels. That guy's outside. And these guys, this 2 and the 3 left over, are inside because they do not have a power of 2. So 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. And 2 times 3 is 6. So 8 square root of 6 is the simplified answer. Okay, so now you should be able to complete page 2 of your class kick examples used in 4.8.